Hi all, welcome to the stream and let's get started with solving a few puzzles before we start to play actual games. It's black to win. hmm Okay, I believe e5 has to be played here and this should be pretty straightforward because now I can even capture on g3 because even if f5 I can just go for e4. It's not possible then, right? Yeah, maybe if e4 is the right move to go now. Yeah, great. Let's go for the next puzzle. So it's white to draw. It's white to draw here. Okay, so the problem is this h5 pawn, but because I have the pawn on a5 and I will queen on a8, so I really don't care about this h pawn because the h pawn will queen on h1. But let's see. If I go for a6, a6 should be the move here. And now the idea is like king d2. I was hoping that my opponent would play on the king side, but he's coming for king d2. Now king c1 could be played here, at which point of time king c3, and then he's threatening me a mate in 1 with pawn b2. Yeah. But what about a7, b2? I promote to a queen with check, he promotes to a queen with check, but I can capture on b3 then. Also, a7, king d2, and then king b3, and then he promotes, and I also promote. It was king c1, king c3, and I really can't do anything about the mate. a7 and then b2 is mate. So let's go for a7, and now let's capture on b3 first. Yeah. King a4, queen a1 is there, so let's go for king b2. Now king a3, a3 or a1. I mean, I can go for a1, but a1 looks a little risky because my king will be in the corner of the board. So let's go for a3 here. Yeah, that should be a draw now. Great, 2 in a row. Let's move for the next puzzle. Black to win. I, I think the idea is pretty simple. King f3, and the only move is to push for, let's say, c3 or c4. We on push on, and then this pawn on d3 can move. Yeah, that should be simple enough. No, let's just capture because there is no stalemate available here. This should be it. Great. I think the quality of the puzzles have dropped down significantly now. I'm not sure why. Black to win. Interesting. F4, C4. We will promote one move earlier. F3, C5, F2, C6. I promote and he's on C7 all then, and then I can just stop the pawn. Also, I can capture on A4 if I'm required to sacrifice my queen. So let's go for that then. Great. I'm not sure why the quality of the puzzles have dropped down. So it's black to win. Black to win here. B2 and king C2, and then king A3, and then he can play king A1, and then it's the pawn cannot really promote. So what about king a3, c6, b2, c7, and then I promote with a check, right? Yeah, this should be a better idea here. And now king a2. Let's promote and save the pawn on the c5. Yeah. Okay, so it's black to draw here. Black to draw. A3, king a3, king c5. King b3, king c6, king c4. Then it should be a draw, I believe. No, but then you can play king d7 here. Maybe king d4. Yeah, that would be a little embarrassing for the king, for the white king. So I guess, yeah, we can capture on a3. Yeah. Now king a4, trying to protect the c pawn. Okay, let's see. Do we need to protect? King a5, king c5. I can't really protect the pawn. King b4, king c6, king c4 is a draw. So do we need to protect the pawn? King a3 should also work here. King c5, king b3, king c6, king c4. Let's go for a4 then. Great. Okay, let's solve one more. That would be 5 in a row, I believe. Black to win. Seriously, you can capture on a6, on d6, right? And then I can just push my a pawn. Not sure why this is a puzzle even. a4, king d5, and then a3 can't be played because of king c4, but I guess he's still out of the pawn. So a2, yeah, that should be it. I can just pawn. There we go. Awesome. Probably let's head on to Lichess, solve a few puzzles over there, because the puzzles that I was getting over there, they were not that great. Let's go for puzzle streak, I believe. Or can we do a filter here? Puzzle themes, yeah. Let's first head on to puzzle streak. And oh no, we can't really do that. Okay, let's go for puzzle themes. Go for pawn endgames. Motifs, advanced, mates, okay. Special moves, goals. Origin, I'm not sure. The only problem with Lichess is that they don't offer games from grandmasters here, right? So we have pawn endgames. Let's go for this. Also may go for rook endgames. Also there is something called master versus master games. Let's have a look at this. Maybe later on. Let's just focus on pawn endgames for the moment. Okay, so it's black to play and win. This is pretty interesting. G5 and G5 and GH5, GH4, H6, H3, H7, H2, and we promote to a queen on the same score on the same file at the same time, but it's bad for black. Although obviously after G5 it would be foolish for white to capture on G5, because then I can just push. What about F5 here? F5 en passant, King F6. gh5, gh5, king d7, king f5. I'm clearly better in this position as well. Let's see. hg5, fg5. Also, g5, hg5, and then gh4, h6. I can play king f8 here. Yeah, h7 and king g7 is there. So yeah, this should be it. Let's capture, and now king f8. There we go. That's about it. Okay, let me add another element. It looks like you guys can't really see if it's a correct move or not. Okay, wait. I'm not sure. Okay, yeah, for puzzles we don't really need this move order. So let me just call it. Create a new scene on OBS. Puzzles. And then over here, it will take me a few seconds to do this, but yeah, it will be worth it. By the way, I'm going for this book called The Woodpecker Method, which is basically a book made up of tactics where we solve the same tactics every now and then. So yeah, that is kind of helping me, I believe, in visualizing these tactics. Okay, so it's again black to move and win. I think f4 looks good here. f4. King is not well placed, I believe, after g4. So f4 is the way to go, I believe. Okay, maybe you can play h4 there, but then let's say if gh4, king f4, h3, king g3, g2, sorry, h2, king h2, king e4, or maybe, I mean, okay, f4 and h4 is pretty good for black, I believe, because gh4, yeah, let's say the king captures on f4, because if he doesn't, then I can just play king e4 and, or maybe king e5 and save the f4 pawn. So king f4, h3, king g3 and king e4. So even if he plays f3, okay, that could be interesting. f3. Let's say king e3, king h3, king f3. That might be a little drawish because king h4, king f4. At some point of time, we can reach my h7 pawn. So yeah. But again, if I take on g4, king g4, and my pawn is hit, I can play something like king h6, but then king h5 is there, right? But yeah, I guess f4 looks pretty good here. Let's go for this. That's the best move. Okay, now I can play king e4, get the opposition, but he can play king f3, pawn f3 check. And then I have to kind of go back. However, I can outflank him with king c3 here. Yeah, because this takes care of d2. King c3. Maybe he can come to king f3, but then I've got king d3, which is better for black. So maybe king c3, f3, c2. And he's kind of in a zugzwang, king d1, king d3. And slowly I'm getting towards the enemy pawns. Oh, hi Ankrit, I did not see the message. How are you, man? Yeah, I think king c3 should be the move here. That's the correct move. Great. Okay, once again black to move. Now if I capture on e5, oh, I'm doing good. Though a little bit of cold, but that's fine. So yeah, if I capture on e5, we'll capture on g5, and if I then capture on g5, king g5, and this pawn is a passer, and I really can't do a lot about that. The queen side pawns are pretty fixed, so I don't really need to care about them. So maybe f5 is a pretty good idea here. f5 check. Then the king can go to any of these three squares. Let's say king still wants to stay in action with king f3. And then and then g4. King e3 and then king. The problem is if I play king f3, king f5, pawn f5 check. This pawn on e6 becomes a passed pawn in a way, yeah. f5 check, king f3. Then what? And then the problem is if I play f5 check. So the other idea could be f5 check, king f3, pawn f4, king f4, and then I capture on e5 with check, and then I'll be, yeah. So he has what? How many? He has what? 1, 2, 3, and 5 pawns. I have 3 and 5 pawns. Yeah, but pawn f4, king f4, and pawn e5 check, king e4. I'm in kind of a zugzwang, but I've got king f6 here. Let's say king d4. Okay, king d4 is not possible, yeah. So let's go for this. Pawn f4. However, pawn f4, king f4. Instead of that, pawn f4. Pawn f6, king f6, king f4. And then it will be a draw kind of a thing, right? Pawn f4, 4, pawn f6, f3, let's say, f6, f7, king f7, king f3. I mean, I think it has to be. Also, I can capture on e5. Let's say e5, pawn h4. Pawn g5. H5, king g5, e4. h7, e3. It's not enough, right? Yeah. f5, king f3. Pawn captures, king captures. No, let's go for pawn f4 here. That's not the right move. So f5. Yeah, now, but now what? f5 is g4 the right move? Let's see. I'm not sure. I don't like g4. Turns out this is the best move. Okay, strange. Now it's coming to d4. I can defend that. Nice. Okay, so black to move once again. I can block these pawns here with either of the pawn move. Let's say h5. If he captures, I capture back. I have to kind of. Or even if I play, let's say h5, you can go for g5. That's a blockage. g5. h5 is one option, or you can just capture and then I capture. So the pawns are blocked, and then it will be kind of a Zugzwang. Although if I play either of the pawn, he can play h5, and then I will be in a Zugzwang kind of a situation. The problem is my opponent's king has better position, has more mobility. He can go to f4. I mean, now because of that, g5 makes more sense, taking away f4. Yeah, I think g4 does not matter how white responds. He will have control over f4, and then what? He will be kind of in a Zugzwang position. Maybe I can, maybe king d3. I mean, I can afford a5 there. Let's go for g5 here. Turns out this is not the right move. Okay. Now g, and now what? a5. Not sure what. Oh, I see. The idea is, is to attack. My bad. That was a simple puzzle. Okay, so it's white to move. G3 check. It's a king. G4. Pawn h5. King h5. King e3. King f4 is there. G3. King f4 is bad because of king e3. Or maybe then I can just capture. Yeah, e3 is still possible there. Or not. Okay, so g3. Let's say king f3. Pawn g5. King g5. King e3. King f4. And then king d4. And I'm not sure how exactly the black king can defend the pawn on e4. Also, I can directly go for g3 here. Check. The king has to move. Let's say king g4, and then capture on g5. King g5, e3, f4. It's tough. I mean, so my idea is to play g3 and then capture on g5. But I can do the same. Let's go for g3 check here. Yeah, and now capture on g5. Yeah, that's the correct move. Okay. Hey, it's a pretty interesting puzzle. So if I capture on f4, pawn f4 check, king f3. I mean, I should not be capturing on f4. I should let him capture on g3, because then I would have access to g3, right? I mean, if I capture, pawn captures, I come back and I don't have access to g3. And in these positions, I think mobility is also a good factor. So yeah, let's go for king f3, king f2 here. But let's say king f2, king d4. gf4, h4. Maybe we can get a draw here. That's the most that white can go for, I believe. Let's go for king f2 here. Ah, turns out this is not the right move. King e2? Or don't tell me this is the right move. Come on. And then what? King. Nice. Oh, nice. Interesting. Okay, this is a pretty famous idea which is happening here on the queen side. Oh, I can play h3 here. Yeah, h3 should be the move here. This is pretty simple. Come on. Oh, my bad. The king can still, if I capture on f3, he can still be in the square of the pawn. You see, the opponent's king. This should be the right move. Come on. So on the similar lines, it's the same puzzle that we saw a moment ago, right? Should be similar puzzle. Let's take on f5 then. And now let's outflank him or what? And I was trying to come to g4. Let's stop that. There we go. King b3. Interesting. e4, pawn e4. I'm not sure. I think I have to gain some better position in this puzzle. Why? Because I can play e4 here, but then I don't really get anything out of this, right? This pawn will then become a passed pawn. I can't stop that. So let's not go for e4. That would be rubbish to play. However, king c1 is a good idea. Putting some pressure on c2. And then he can't really defend the pawn with his king. He has to play something like c3 or c4. So king c1. Let's say c3. Let's analyze c3. Pawn c3, king c3. Okay, let's king c1, king c3. I will not capture on c3 because that would give my opponent a better opposition as well. So king c1, c3 I don't capture. I play something like king d2 here, and then c4. Then I capture on d3, c5. King e2, c6, d3, c7, c2, queens, and I also queen. But I have an extra pawn here. Yeah, that could be crucial. And king c1 and c4. Then also I don't capture on c3. I think king c1 should be a good move. Yeah, and I don't want to capture because if I capture king c3, he gets the opposition. Let's say king. But that's interesting. I can capture on c3, king c3. Yeah, and then I play king d1. He can't really do anything about the opposition now. But however, he can play d4. There, e4. And then what? d4. Yeah, that could be an idea. So if I capture on c3, king d1, d4. e4. King d4 is not possible, so I'm what? King e. Yeah, that is also interesting. I can capture on c3. That looks good. Come on, that's not the right move. King d2 or what? If what? If king d2 is not the right move, I'm not sure what it is. Ah, nice. I mean, let's analyze this one. I really want to see what's the issue behind this. C4, if I capture on C3, how can white respond? Yeah, king D1. King C4. Then it's a draw, I believe. Yeah, it's a draw. Got it. So if I remember my theory correctly, C5 should be the move here. Let's go for this. Yeah. Oh, I see. I have to defend this pawn first. My bad. Let's do one more because I don't want to. I mean, I started with 22-25. That was my rating, so I want to end with at least more than that. So over here, E4 looks good. Sending the king back to, let's say, G6 and then king G4. Yeah, I think E4 should be a good move here. And then king G4. Securing control of F4. And now I can play king F6 because I'm still in the square of the pawn. In the square of the pawn, but king F6, king E7. Can I select G4? That's it. I have anything. King F6, king E7. Let's see E5. Pawn E5, pawn E5, G4. I capture on G4. Yeah, that's better because even if king E6, I can just play king F4 and then I can defend the pawn and the position as well. King F6, king F5, king E7, and then what? I can also play D5, but then he's got king D6. I think king F5, and then E5 is the move to play. Yeah, and then E5 should be the move. Yeah, that's a move. Okay, so we technically have more rating than I started with. So let's do this one again. I mean, let's go for this puzzle. So the entire queen side is kind of packed. The pawn's not really moving. And now I can play A4 here, maybe, because then my opponent will be in a zugzwang. He has to defend the C6 pawn. Maybe if C5, then king is coming to B5, and then I'm winning. So yeah, C4 should be it. Yeah, and then king B5 should be the move. Yeah. Okay, so I can capture on A5. We can come to C4, but then king B5 back, and you really can't capture on C3 there. Yeah, it should be it. Got it. I think it's been okay. Let's solve a few harder positions. Maybe let's see. That was the normal setup that I had initially. Let's go for one harder position, quote unquote harder position. Let's see. The B4 looks good here. And once the king goes to one of these three squares, I can play king d4. However, after b4, king c6, king d4, king d6, and now he has the opposition, right? And then f4, let's say. But then pawn f4, and then yeah, that's better because this h pawn is not a passer pawn. I have some resistance on the g file. And let's go for b4. Let's try this formula. This idea, my bad. Let's go for king d4 here. That's not the right move. I see. So is f4 the right move? Wait, what? I'm not sure. Now f4 takes. Let's go back a few moves and let's try to analyze what's the issue with f4 right away, because yeah, the computer also suggests f4 here. Let's see, f4 takes, and then what? Let's say king e6. I play king d4, king d6, and what about g3 here? Okay, he can play something like, oh nice, he can play a3 and then nice. Kind of a choice position, I believe. Yeah, it's equal for both sides. Anyhow, so I guess Ankrit is in the chat. Hi there, man. If you are still there, let me know. I'll issue you a challenge. Or otherwise, I can pick up someone from the internet itself. Let's wait for a minute. I'll solve this puzzle. If he's still in the chat, he can ping me and then we can issue him a challenge. I think king b5 should be the move. Outflanking him. If I capture, he can play king c5 there. b3 push. Yeah, looks good. However, king a5. Oh, great, man. Could you? So you want to play a game with me, or should we? Should I look for somebody else, or if you are up for a game, let me know. So let's say king a5, king c4, king c5. My bad. King c4. Then I can just play king a3 maybe. Yeah, that's good. Or I can play b3 right away. Yeah, that is also good, man. But then king d4, I capture on a5. King e4 here. Yeah, that could be good. Let's play b3 right away. Oh wait, b3, a4. But then I can get a draw because these a-pawns, I can defend them, I believe. b3, a4, king a4 is there, right? Yeah. Wait, come on. b3 is not the right move. I'm not sure how these puzzles are made. Anyhow, let's issue Ankrit the game. Let's see if we can play a few games with him. There we go. Let's issue him a challenge. 10 minutes, yeah. Let's go for it. He is online, yeah. There we go. Great. Right, let's go for my favorite d4. Let's see what do we have. d6, nice. g4, nice. Bishop g4 now? No, still not. I think now we can play bishop g4. Nice. Expected. Now rook e8 with the idea of e5. Let's go for this. So he's threatening to play e4 here. Let's see. Pawn e5, knight e5, knight e5, pawn e5, and then knight d7, and this bishop is doing a good job here. Not sure though. Not sure if this is the right move, but let's see. And now rook e8 would be played here, I believe. Let's see, rook e8. Let's see if he, or maybe queen e7. One of the same ideas here. Yeah, it's pretty predictable. And now he'll capture on d4. And then knight c5 after this. Yeah, that's fine. He gets a square there. Knight c5 and then rook e1. Ooh, nice. Did not expect that. Knight b5, knight b6. Okay, let's go for this. Let's see how black responds to this. Did I miss something here? Is there a tactic? Let's test him. Let's see. Oh, hi Shobit. Nice to have you on stream, man. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, do give it a shot. I stream on weekends. That's Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And I've been on YouTube putting chess content for quite some time. So yeah, I'm pretty consistent that way. I mean, it's been what? It's been 2014, right? It's been 7 years. Wow, that's a long time. By the way, if you want me to play a game against you, let me know. I play on Lichess mainly. I can issue you a challenge after this game. So knight b7 looks good. The problem is knight b7, queen will come to, let's say, b6 here, and the knight is trapped. Let's defend the knight. Knight e5 maybe? Wait, what? Wait, what? I can do a lot of damage with my knight. The only question is, should I? Let's capture on f7 first. Because capturing on b7 would allow him some counterplay against the pawn on b2. So yeah, let's go for that. Let's hit the queen. Challenge sent. Yeah, definitely, man. I don't see any notifications though, but yeah, I'll definitely go for it. I'll definitely be a game with you after this. However, I don't see any. Wait, I have a clipper on my screen. Maybe that's why. Oh yeah, there we go. Let me remove that clipper. Yeah. So I have the challenge. Black's king side is how should I say? it's pretty open, right? I have the bishop pair advantage. I have the dark bishop as well. Nice. So should I really save my bishop? That is the question. Let's just save my bishop. I don't want to give it away just like that. Let's see if we have any tactics on e4. Knight e4, queen e4, and then this knight can give me some difficult time, but I don't see it at the moment. Also, this pawn is on c5, which is so I'll come to this later on if I can get to implement that idea. But yeah, the pawn on c5 is, I guess, helping me to play f4. And the idea is, let's just go for it. If I play f4, queen b6 or is not available. Oh, nice. So he wants to attack the pawn. Nice. Nice. I can win the pawn on c5, right? Can't I? Pawn takes b5, pawn takes b5. I win this pawn on c5. The problem is, if I capture, I can play c4, right? Let's just defend it, everything now for a while. I think it will be interesting to see later in the analysis if pawn b5 was good here or not. But technically right now I'm up by 2 pawns. So maybe exchanging makes sense, but I believe at the right time. Now what? Let's bring my rook to a good square. I'm getting a call. I'll be back in a moment, guys. Just hold on for a second.
Cause they know Brit and Mo, I hit the lotto, my motto, roll up gelato and throttle a couple models staccato who fucking brought up the bottles. I'm gone ham. This ain't even luck, all planned. Y'all know who the fucks I am. Burning bucks, smoke bands. Always been the
okay, we are back. We are back. So queen a5 has been played. I'm not really sure. I don't like this move. Why this particular move was played. Let's play f4 there. Gain some space. And now you see the pawn on c5 prevents any checks along this diagonal. Now you can play knight to d4, which can be a little annoyance to me. Let's see if I can do something. around the d7 square. Let's just open up the board. Let's go for it. Let's go full in for the idea. Okay, wow. Let's just go for this. Now bishop g5 is a threat.
I'm catching feelings from all the dealings. Am I astray? What do you say? How are you feeling? Is it the same? I hope you're not planning to waste my time.
Also, there are a lot of tactics in the air. That's bad.
It's been a while and such a ride, the stars align.
That's bad.
I love the fact I didn't let her go. She loves the fact that I just let her know. Now we're together, it's a different
That's
mode.
super bad.
We getting crazy.
The king will be checkmated pretty soon now. Okay, I can get the a2 pawn, but I get the game there. And thanks to the bishop pair advantage that I have, I can slice the enemy king however I want to. Also, knight on c6 is it. Knight d4 could be a good option, but doesn't really save the game, I believe. In fact, knight d4 can't be played here. I can just capture on d4, pawn d4, and then the a rook is falling, and then black is toasted here. Wow, that's nice. Let's get rid of any sort of complications with the knight. Oh my bad, I did not update this or what? Now I should also update this particular element here. I can just capture on a8 here. Let me just do this. Okay, he gets the a2 pawn, but let's see if it's really worth anything. And now what? I think I missed a mate on my last move, or did I? Yeah. Oh no, I did not. I did not. Did not. But yeah, with bishop g4, there's a mate incoming. With queen e7 here, yeah, now you can get to play this. However, I can play bishop f4 here, can't I? Bishop f4, king d4, and then queen f6. Yeah, let's go for this. Looks pretty interesting. Now it's not escaping at least. Great. Checkmate. Let's go for it's a casual 5-1. Not okay. I don't play 5-1, but yeah, let's give it a shot. Let's see what Shobit has got for us. d4, knight f6. Let's go for King's Indian defense. Wow, that's nice. Knight c3. But this is just, he's losing a pawn here, isn't he? Should I? Or should I not? I should not probably. Yeah, let's not. I'm not sure. Okay, wait. D5 knight takes. Yeah, let's go for D5 here. I haven't played this opening this way, but yeah, let's add some madness to it. Because why not? Yeah, yeah, that's true, Ankit. Huh, okay. It's castle now. C4 could be an option. Yeah, there we go.
Hold me close till I get up. Time is barely on our side. I don't wanna waste what's left. The storms we chase are leading us, and love is all we'll ever trust. Yeah, no, I don't wanna waste what's left. And on we'll go through the wastelands, through the highways, till my shadow turns to sun rays. And on
Sure, Ankit, sure. It was nice to have you on stream. Thanks for your time.
through the wastelands, through the highways, and on we'll go. Finding life along the way, melodies we haven't played. No, I don't want no rest. Echoing around these walls, fighting to create a song. I don't wanna miss a beat. And on we'll go through the wastelands, through the highways, till my shadow turns to sun rays. And on we'll go through the wastelands, through the highways, and on we'll go. And we'll grow in number, fueled by
Mhm.
them to see the horizon, turn us to thousands. And we'll grow in number, fueled by them to see the horizon, turn us to thousands. And on we'll go through the wastelands, through the highways, till my shadow turns to sun rays. And on we'll go through the wastelands, through the highways.
I'm not sure if this is the right move, though. Should be. Should be.
Like you, be strong,
Nice. Nice. I guess I have to play a little fast. I'm thinking a lot here, although I have some increment going on here. Let's see. Mhm. Hmm. There could be some fireworks here now, I believe. Let's save everything and play a little fast here. So as long as I have increment, I have some scope here. It what? Oh, fish. There we go. I made a mistake here. That's fine. That's fine. I can still hold this position, I guess. Okay. Now this is winning for black. I just have to play a little fast here. It's winning, it's winning, it's winning. That's good game. Let's see. Let's go to the analysis board. Let's do a quick analysis of the game. By the way, good game, Shobit. Good game. I think I made a little, how should I put it? Some inconsistent moves with the in the opening, but the idea was because we were playing a 5-1, so I thought of experimenting a little bit. Yeah, e4 is just bad. I'm winning a pawn here. Okay, the computer suggests taking on c3. Okay, I captured on c3, and then this diagonal is kind of closed, which is why I did not like this. However, it says white has a 1.4 advantage. Okay, I still have a decent advantage in this 0.2 advantage. Let's see. Yeah, I mean this position is better for black because now this if he plays c4, which he did, then this diagonal will become a little weak, and that was the whole idea. Okay, c5, nice. So yeah, black is better here with an advantage of 4 pawns. Wow, again because this diagonal is weak. Knight c6 wasn't a good move. In fact, it dropped my advantage to a couple of centi pawns. It was 4.9, almost a pawn, a full pawn basically. What's a good move here? I think I thought about d4, going pawn d4. Let's knight d4 here, and then bishop d4. Bishop. Let's see. Okay, yeah, bishop. F queen. You know that's bad because if I come, what's a good move here? Queen d4, queen d4, bishop d4, and then I'm winning a piece here. My goodness, I did not see this. Capture here as well, or yeah, let's just develop. Nice. Why did I not see this? My idea was after c d4, knight d4, I thought I will capture on. Yeah, in fact, capturing on e7 is good here, right? My god, such a simple tactic. Anyhow, so yeah, I mean he has what 5 pawns. I have 6 pawns, and my pawn structure is way better than my opponents. And in this position, oh, okay. So the computer is saying to play rook a to b8. Then I don't lose. Don't I lose my a7 pawn here? Yeah. Yeah, rook b7, but then a4, right? Maybe it's good for easier for engine to play with this, but for a human player, it's just a little difficult, I believe. Oh yeah, I should have just. No, but then queen b7, right? Yeah, but then he loses. I mean, I lose a7. I did not like this position as well because again, it's a little mentally difficult to play with this. Again, uh, oh yeah, I could have taken on h2 as well. My goodness, did not see that. Anyhow, I'm not sure if bishop rook e7 is fully justified here. Yeah. Maybe he should have just captured on f7 there. That's fine. I'm sure he would have thought of his own reasons, I believe. And then yeah, it's a simple game because my opponent's king is cut off from the e5. You can't really go there. I'm keeping my pieces on dark squares, and because of the c4 pawn, which is helping me in a way to promote, because I can play a2, and then there's no bishop to take care of a2. So yeah. Anyhow, let's head back to solving a few puzzles. I really like solving a few puzzles now. Let's go for endgame puzzles, pawn endgames. And let's go for a normal. Yeah, let's go for normal difficulty level here. Okay, so it's black to play here. Now the only problem is if the puzzle were to tell me if I have to draw this or win this puzzle, it's easier, you see. Now, okay, now if I talk about this puzzle, my h5 pawn really can't be defended as of now because king 5 is coming. Although you can't really just play king d5 because his f6 pawn is also hanging there. However, I've got a 2 to 1 advantage, so maybe c5 looks good. Also, I don't really see any other good moves here. It's pretty simple to play c5. Now I can play c4, king b4, b3, right? Pawn takes, and then I can just grab the f6 pawn. What? Come on. Are you saying this is not the right move? You think b3 is not the right move? Come on. So what's the right move there? f6? I mean, wow. And what's the issue with... Yeah, takes. Yeah. Capture... I mean, oh, I see. This is a draw now. Nice. Nice. After all, computers can see what humans can't in chess. At least in chess. G5, Hg5, H4, and the pawn. I mean, the king can still go after the pawn, right? What about a5? Because even if he captures on g6, I can get into the square of the pawn, right? So a5 looks good here. Although I can capture on f5, put him in check, and then play a5. Let's say he captures on a5, or maybe he's just ignorant and he goes for king g6. I've got a4, king h5, a3, g7, king g6, a2, h5, and then I promote, right? Yeah, so a5 could be a good move here, but I should first put him in check here, then a5. Yeah. I think I should capture on b4 here, and then maybe he has to play king d4. I've got d3. He has to go back, and then I can probably get a good position with for the pawn against on c4. So yeah, I think I should capture here. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, now what? This should be simple. First capture on b5 and then think about how to proceed here. Wow, that's not the right move. Nice. I think this is for white to draw. King d4, and if king h4, then we play king f4, and that's a draw. King d4 is good. Also king I mean king d5 or king d6, both are good here. Let's go for the safest option of king d5 here. Wow. I thought it was black. I mean, it was for white to draw. Anyhow, let's go for one more. Let's spend some time on this one. The idea is to get to what? My rating is 2011, 20 to 11. Let's go for 20 to 40. And then we will think about how to go later on with this puzzle thing. Yeah, but I think king g5, king e7, or king e6. So king g5, and let's say if he plays king e6, then it's a stalemate for white, right? And it's a draw. So king g5, let's say king e7, and then I can play e6. If king e6, then it's again a stalemate for white. However, king g5 allows him to play e3 there, and then I'm not going to stop this pawn. Nice. However, I can play g5 here, or king e3 here is also possible. But if I play king e3, he can just play g5 himself, and then I'm losing out on the square. But then, yeah, okay. Then I don't have access to the king side, right? Let's play g5 myself here, maybe. Yep. One sec, I'm getting another call. I'll be back in a moment. And I'm back. Yeah. So maybe g5 and then king e3. Come on. Anyways, let's give it one more try. We are on 2200. We just need to go to 40 points. We need to reach just 40 more points. Yeah, probably 3 or 4 puzzles which I need to solve correctly. Okay. I can block the king side with a move like g4. Yeah. And then what's the plan for white? White can probably go for king d4. I mean, then it's a draw, right? The kings really can't make any advancement on either side. However, I can capture on f4, gf4, and then I can slowly bring my king to the h pawn. That's interesting, right? I can simply play king g6 here. Yeah. Now the question is king g6 or pawn f4. Now the idea with king g6 is he can capture on g5, and if I capture back on g5, let's say with my pawn, then king e3 is there, and he has some chances of putting his king on, if not on f4, then at least he can get around this pawn structure. So let's just resolve the pawn structure on the king side. Yeah, now king g6. Yeah. Slow and steady, we can capture or we can improve our position with the king. I can just play king g4 here. Nice. So I think it's a pretty the puzzle that we have in front of us. It's a pretty famous chess position. It will transfer to a very famous chess position if I got this correct. Let's say if I play king e5, he plays f4. King e4, the pawn is hit, and there is no way for white to save the pawn, right? Also, I can go for a draw with king, pawn f4, king f4, and then king f6. Hey, however, he can play something like king g6, then I don't have the opposition. Yeah, so maybe king f4, pawn f4 is not the right move. King e5 looks good here. Yeah. Now I can play king f4, pawn f4 also looks good. Pawn f4 or king f4? King f4, I think. King f4, and whichever way he goes, we will outflank him on the opposite side. Yeah, let's outflank him. Or I can just play king to g5 here itself right away. Yeah, let's go for this. Nice. Okay. Yeah, I think d4, pawn d4, pawn d4, and then because of this pawn, the king really cannot get around a pawn on d4. Let's see, king b4. Oh yeah, he can, maybe he can. So if I play d4, ed4, sorry, cd4, cd4, king b4, and then I can't play d3 because of king c3. Yeah. So okay, let's see if c4 is good. C4. It's not good because he can play b4 himself, and then b5 is coming. Yeah. So d4 should be the way to go. d4, forcing an exchange. King b4, king b6. But then if king b4, then we have king d5 here. Yeah. Oh hi MobaBot. That's a unique username, I can say. d4. Let's capture king b4, king d5, right? Nice. Now I can play d3, but then he has got king b2, and he's in the square of the pawns. Maybe king f4 here. Wow. I don't see the problem with king c4. Let's see what's the problem with king c5 here. So what's the move? Black is suggesting to play. I mean, the engine is suggesting to play king b2. Nice, because he can just sacrifice the pawn, and then maybe he can just come in front of this. Now it's a draw. Nice, nice, nice. Mhm. Nice. Now it makes sense to capture on f4. Let's say if on ef4, gf4, g4. It's not good, to be honest, because he can just play h4. Maybe even if he captures, I capture. The king can easily get in the square of the pawn, right? So maybe king f6 looks good here. Yeah, king f6. However, I can also capture on f4 with my g pawn, gf4, and let's say gf4, and then I can play e4, right? Okay, yeah, this h pawn is a little annoyance for me, but then again, I've got my king to guard that, to fight against a pawn. Maybe after this, he's in kind of a zugzwang. And then what? Then what? After e4, he can probably play. Yeah, that looks good, right? Yeah, now e4. Nice. Okay. Mm-hmm. So c6, pawn c6, b6. Still, he can play king d6 and he's in the square of the pawn. However, I can play b6 and then c6. Yeah, b6, d4, c6, d3, uh, c7, let's say, d2. And the problem is promote with. I mean, obviously I can then kind of defend my this pawn with my king, but a b6 and then c6. Yeah, and then c6, and then just push the pawn. It should be winning. Yeah. Okay, so it's white to play here. I can take the diagonal opposition with king f4, king d5, and then I don't have any opposition, right? However, I have king e4, temporarily giving away the opposition, king e6, g5, and then what? King d4, king d6, king d4, king c6, and then we outflank. This looks an interesting idea here. Yeah. And now we can take the opposition with king d4, king d4. Let's say. Or I can just first freeze the pawns on the king side with, let's say, g5 here, because we don't want him to capture or to place his king on f6. Come on. Is king b4 the right move here? But what's the problem with capture? I capture g4. Oh, I see. He gets some counterplay. And then even if he goes this far, we can't really make any. Nice, 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 nice. Pawn h3, king g5, and then he can't really get the opposition right. Wow. Wow, that's. But what's the problem with pawn g3, pawn h3 there? Yeah. Wow. Just when I was about to think that I'm getting better at in game, this happens. Yeah. Okay. So king f4. Okay. Let's give ourselves some time. So the h pawn is a little nuanced. I'm not sure if that is actually causing some problem to white, but yeah, I have to take care of the presence of h5 pawn. King f4. Therefore, c4 pawn is anyhow falling. King c4, e5, or I can just play king e5. Let's say he plays king d4 and king f4. Yeah, I mean, should we waste a move with king f4 or should we just go for e5 directly? If king c4, then it's just bad because he's out of the square of the pawn and e6 is winning. So yeah, let's go for e5 there maybe. Yeah, nice. Now he's trying to get in the square of the pawn. I can play e6 here. Yeah, and he can play king c7. Or we can play c5 here. c6, but then he can just get in the square of the pawn. Let's play king h4 here then. Let's go for it, because let's say king h4, king c5. I can play e6 here. Or maybe I don't need to. Let's just go for king h4 here for the moment. Build some pressure, yeah, capture, yeah, nice. I think this is that floating square concept which I explained in one of my previous videos. So yeah. Okay, back to move. Now king d5 is just bad because of king d3. He gets opposition. So maybe king e6 here. However, king d5, king d3, I can play king c5 here, right? Let's say a3, a5, pawn push with check, pawn takes, king takes, and then he can just capture, and then okay, yeah, then he can reach my pawns on the king side very easily. So yeah, king d5 maybe not is not the best move here. h3 maybe. Let's reserve that. King e6 is the second idea that I have. King e6, king f3, king d5. Yeah, that's interesting. Wow. But what's okay, I'm just done with these puzzles. What's the problem with king e6 here? a5, then a3. Nice, 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 nice. So I really can't defend this pawn. However, I can give him some sort of checkmate. I mean, I can create some sort of checkmating ideas with, let's say, king d4. Or I can play king d, or maybe king d4. Let's say g6, e4, g7, e3. He promotes, right? Yeah. King d4, g6, king c4, g7. c2, he promotes, check, and then I also get a queen there. Yeah, that is good here. Okay, that's just weird, super weird. I don't know what to. Is it? What's going king d4, g6. And he promotes with check here, yeah. Okay, then you can just go there. Nice. So we both are in Zoog's rank here. I think let's go for king. Let's go for b5 here. b5. Let's just lock in everything, right? b5, and if we just try to break open, I can just close everything, right? Yeah. Let's go for king b5 here. b5, let's just lock in everything, right? b5, and if we just try to break open, I can just close everything, right? Yeah. Also, I can capture on c4 and then I can try to block, but then yeah, he gets some move. So yeah, I think also b3 is a move which kind of puts my opponent into zugzwang. Even with b3, let's say if pawn captures on b4, pawn captures on b4, if he plays pawn d4, king e4 is there, but then he has got king g5, right? Let's go for b5. Yeah. And now king e5, f6 is there though. But then I have some, yeah, there's some pressure on d6, yeah. On e5, my bad. Okay. Now b5, because my opponent has left the square of the pawn on b4, so b5 is should be good here, right? Nice. I can capture on d6. More to check, right? Yeah. And there are no checks available from my queen. And also the king f5 here, he promotes to queen capture on c4, because his pawn on d6 is anyhow going to fall because it's under the purview of my queen. Okay, I'm not sure why that was the case. Nice. I think b5, let's say. cb5. c6 is not a good option because he has king d6 there. And if I capture on b6, pawn b6, and then he has got 3 versus 2 majority, so maybe on the king side he'll be able to play. a5. Or let's say if I just capture on b6, pawn b6, a5, pawn a5, pawn a5. My opponent's king is not at the moment in the square of the pawn, but he can play something like king d6, a7, king c7, yeah, a6, a7, yeah, and then capture, yes. Yeah, maybe maybe capturing and then playing a5 looks good here. Now king d4. I mean, I would love to play king f4, but then he has got the c pawn rolling down the board. King c4 maybe, because now this a5 pawn I can control my opponent's king with this pawn. So king d4 looks good. Nice. Okay, so we're getting close to 20 to 40. Let's see. Mhm. Now if I play king d3, he can play king c4, and then I don't have the option of taking the opposition. However, I can outflank him via king e4, but then maybe king b5, and he has got 2 to 1 majority. The pawns are pretty close to queening, so maybe that could be decisive. King b3. Let's see, king. Yeah, okay, that takes the diagonal opposition. Maybe he can come to e4. Uh, king a4, king f3. I capture on a5. He comes to g2. I capture on b4. He captures, and then a4. He captures back. a5, h5, h6, h4, h7, h3, and I get to promote. Also, I'm taking care of the square of h1 where the h pawn will probably promote. So yeah, let's go for king b3 here. And now what? If I play king a4, he can play king b6, and then we are in. I mean, now king is. Or maybe if I play king a4, he can just play king b4. Wow, and then my king is kind of locked. Oh, no, it's not locked. I mean, yeah, I've got this pawn. King a4, king b5 there. Then what? And then I can just play with my pawns in the queen side, right? Because I have 3 to 2 majority and my pawns are in a better shape here. King a4, king b6, b4. Sorry, g4. Yeah, nice. So we are halfway there with triple to 1. Mm-hmm. Nice. Looks like we can. I'm not sure if we can play on the queen side. I think what we can do is we can target this pawn, these 2 pawns, and then we can, when the king reduces to the queen side, we can then play with the king side. Yeah, I'll be back in a moment. Okay, and I'm back. So yeah, let's go for the queen side play. And once my opponent's king reaches there, then we can go for some ideas with g4 or h4. The only question is if I go for the queen side attack, he can come for the king side gameplay. With but I can handle that because let's say king d2, king g5, I can play g3 there, h4, and then I can play g4. The position is locked. So yeah, let's go for that. Nice. And now we play g3. Um, let's say g3, or we can also play g4. If he captures, I capture, he can play h5, and then we are in a Zugzwang. Or I can play h4 myself. If h6, we just play g3, right? Also g3, but then he can play h5, and then he can block. Let's play h4 here. Yeah, nice. Now I can play e5, prevent f6 from my opponent's king. You can play h4, e6, king f6, king f4, king e6, king g6, and then there's no way to defend the pawn on the h file. Also, the g6 pawn is hit. So yeah, let's go for e5, e6. What? What's the move here? Wow. So this is one of those famous positions where the first one to attack the enemy pawn loses. I think I covered this in one of my videos. So yeah, king is 5. Should we move here? And then if I play king b6, he can play king d5, and then we are in a, I'm in a Zugzwang. So yeah, let's just take the opposition. And now I have taken the control of the critical squares of the pawn on c6. So now I can win the pawn very easily. Again, if I play king b6, he can play king d5, and then I'm losing my pawn, and then the tables are turned. Let's play king b7 here. Now he has attacked my pawn first. Now he's going to lose this position with king b6. Here we go. A theoretical position. Oh nice, I can play king f6 and of put him in a Zugzwang, and then I can play with my pawns on the queen side. Let's go for king f6. King f7. Nice. Let's see. King d4, e5 check, king d5, and the pawn cannot be saved. Then maybe let's say he plays something like king c3, king captures on d6, king captures on c4, king captures on e5, and then my pawn on e file is promoting. So king d4 should be easy here. Nice. And now e5. If e5, king e5, king c4 is there then. No. What about c5? c5. On c5, yeah, this is better because then I can get, I am in a way taking in charge of the position, right? Yeah. So c5 should be the move. I can play king e5, that's better, right? But then he can play king d6, king d7, I mean. So what about king pawn e5, king d7, and then king c5, and then maybe I can outflank him out via this queen side maneuver, also via this queen side maneuver. So e5 should be the move here. Like pawn e5. Nice. There we go. We have achieved our target, but let's try to cross 20 to 50 maybe. Okay, so there's some pressure on the b6 pawn that needs to be resolved first of all. Let's see. Pawn a5. That is obvious. I mean, let's do that first. Now on. Look, the point is that my opponent's king is not in such a good position because he's protecting the pawn on e4. But if he were to move in the same position, he would be required to get away from this pawn, and then I can just capture it and win the game. So yeah, the idea is to block the position. Now I can take advantage of this double pawns, because if I play, let's say, h4, he can play g4, and then it's me who's in zugzwang. I'm going to lose this pawn on d4. Probably he can come to c4 also. But I can also play g4 player, captures, and then I have this reserve move with my double pawn. However, after g4, he can play h5, h4 himself, and then maybe let's say what, g5, hg5 could be played there, right? Yeah. Or let's say, wait, h5, pawn h5, I can go to f4, pawn g4, I mean, yeah. Then king d4, and then what, I can play king g3, e5 captures, e6 captures, e7, yeah, maybe I don't have enough resources there. So yeah, g4, h4, g4, h4, g5, hg5, h4. Not sure what to do. I mean, I'm sure that I have to take advantage of the double pawns, that's for sure. h4, let's say, g4,
So you wanna go to war with me? You're talking like you think you're royalty. You think that I'm afraid, but I don't break. I heard you question my stability.
let's go for
Just like Achilles heel.
g4 here.
But I am here to stay. Won't look away. The storm is coming, so you better start running. No, you can't control
I'm not sure if
phones. I'm coming for the
h4,
I'm coming for the throne.
nice. But what's the problem? I mean, why can't just white capture on h4 here?
I'm coming for the throne.
Oh nice, I completely forgot about that. I can form a square now. And because my pawns have crossed the enemy line,
You wanna be my
I think 4,
You should
yeah, pawns on 4, having 4 files on the edges should be enough, right? Yeah, captures, let's push, yeah, nice.
if I don't belong with you, no
Nice.
who died and made
Let's
you
do last puzzle for the stream before we end the stream.
You think that I'm insane? It's your mistake. Kingdoms rise and fall. I've come to take it all. I'll take it. I've come to take
Okay, this is interesting. Let's see. CB5, AB5, AB5, King B5, and then E6, King C6, King C4, E6 is there, right? Yeah. However, I can also do Pawn B5, check, pawn b5, and then I can play a5 because this is forming a square. You see, there should be enough. Because yeah, that should be enough, I believe. Let's take the gamble. There we go. But let's see. Can't black hold this position? So yeah, give this maybe a check. Then we promote somehow. Nice, 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 nice. Great. Let's end the puzzle. Let's call it a day. I think it was pretty eventful. Eventually, I reached 20 to 55. There were a lot of ups and downs. But anyhow, it was nice to stream today, I guess.